Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is very special because it's been 1 year of buying our first house and calling it our home. In this house we have built so many memories, and I think this is a very good time to look back and see how we went through the process of buying this house. Did we find a good fit for our family? Is there anything we could have done better? Do we still love the same thing about this house after we call it our home for a year? So let's get started. Yes.
Oh guys, welcome to Numumlife.
So let me get started with my full story. It all began in 2020, a year which no one can forget in their lifetime, and I'm sure many of you will relate to my story. At that time, we were living in a rental apartment, and after our second child, we were already planning for a bigger place. But what we didn't plan was that my husband started working from home in March, and everything got changed. Meeting were coinciding with kids' playtime, and kids' noises will be disrupting the meeting. That's how things got chaotic, and suddenly our apartment started to feel smaller and smaller to us. My good husband even moved his office to our walkable closet, which worked to some extent, but it was not at all a good solution for a long term. And that is when we started looking for buying a house very seriously. At that time, we were living in Northern Virginia, and house prices there is at its premium. And if you're looking a house in Northern Virginia, you know that it's a tough market out there. Just like a first-time buyer, we were checking Zillow and other sites for houses. We even talked to a few friends who recently bought a house and also contacted local realtor. But whenever we looked at the house and the price of house, it was really discouraging for us. Our needs were very simple. We were not looking for a big house and a big mortgage. We were just looking for a decent size family house or a townhouse with a good backyard and enough space for my kids to play, and most important that it should come within our budget so that it will be a manageable mortgage for us, and if needed we can finish it in a short time. We wanted a good deal well within a budget, which was really unlikely to happen in Northern Virginia, so we extended our search to Richmond. It's 100 miles from the Northern Virginia, capital of Virginia, beautiful city, peaceful suburb, culturally diverse, great running community, and just 2 hours away from beaches, mountain, and Washington, D.C. Best part is that we already lived there, so we knew that Richmond is a beautiful place to get settled. We looked houses online in Richmond and they were well within our budget. But without a good realtor, it's tough to find out what we are getting. Luckily, we had an advantage here. We contacted to our family friend who is a reputed realtor in Richmond, Shefali Bansal. Shefali made us feel comfortable about our first time house hunting from the very start. She is one of the best realtor in Richmond area. I'll put her profile link in the description box as well as you can see in the screen. And she helped our house need define more properly, like good school district, safe community, easy to maintain, and the list goes on. We discussed in detail about our comfortable budget, and with all the base variables defined, the only problem was the distance. There was no way we could go frequently to see houses, so Shefali agreed to show us the houses virtually, and we saw all the houses online through WhatsApp video call. And first few houses were not what we were looking for. After a month, we found a townhouse which looked perfect for our family, and we knew that demand was high, so we put our offer just after viewing it virtually. But we missed that house because someone put a cash offer on it. That was disappointing, but the very next day, Shefali told us about another house in the same community which was on sale. Both were N unit with some minor differences. This time, after discussing with Shefali, we put the offer and we got accepted. Shefali planned our visit on the inspection day, and we were really happy and excited to see our house in person for the first time after virtually viewing it and putting the offer. Thankfully, the inspection turned out to be good with some minor things. The previous owner was accommodating. He fixed all of the things and also provided us 1 year worth of air filter. Now that our house was finalized, the other thing to finalize was our mortgage. And mortgage has different option of 15, 20 and 30 years with different interest rate depending upon the down payment which you do. And interest rates are pretty good across the spectrum. They are below 3% mostly. And as an Indian, I know 3% of interest rate sounds really good, but here you get different option in which you can score interest rate below 3%. We wanted a mortgage to be comparable with our monthly rent so that our financials doesn't get impacted in a positive or in a negative way. So one important thing which I would like to mention is that it's just not the mortgage you're going to pay. There are other payments involved with your mortgage, like your utility bill, your insurance, your HOA. So you have to consider while calculating your monthly expenses. There are lots of mortgage calculator you can find online and calculate your monthly expense. And one tip is here that utility bill costs a little higher. So at least calculate 1.5 or 2 times while calculating your monthly expense. The next main part is to find a lender. Most lenders are okay to lock in before your 60 days of closing and start the process. And it also gives you sufficient time to keep up. While choosing a lender, one important item to note is that many of the lenders may provide you lower interest rate if you purchase their discount points or points. It's just a technical way to say pay them interest amount in advance and they will lower your interest rate. A point is 1% of the mortgage. So if you agree to purchase 0.5 points in a mortgage of, let's say, 300k, then you have to pay $1,500 as an advance of your interest so that they can reduce the interest for around 0.2%. It doesn't make any sense to us, so we didn't choose that. But it according to your needs, if it fits to your needs, then you can go ahead with this option. It did not took us long to decide on a lender because most of the lenders were in 0.1% difference. That makes like $10 per month. So we decided to go with the lender who is most reputed and has lowest admin expenses. One thing you will notice that your lender will estimate your title insurance. The lender title insurance is mandatory, but the owner title insurance is optional. We bought that. This insurance protects you from any legal claims, if any is there, against your house before you purchased it. Now, the other key thing is the down payment. If you pay less than 20% of your down payment, you have to get a PMI, that is private mortgage insurance. We decided against it because paying $150 plus just to pay your down payment below 20% didn't make sense for us. But if you're purchasing a bigger house, then it's something you will consider to do it. But do not forget to include in your monthly expenses. Now, the lenders will ask you for many documents, and then their underwrites will take many days to approve your loan. There could be a house inspection too, but in our case, it was not needed, so we didn't got house inspection from the lender side. And once the loan is approved, there will be a radio silence until the week before closing. There will be some last minute verification to check that if there is any change in your job or financial, etc. Finally, it's a closing time, and that week there will be lots of activity from your lenders and closing company. We transferred the final amount to the closing company and we traveled to the Richmond on the closing. This was the only time that we did an in-person visit. Due to COVID, we were taking extra precaution and the company also took the precaution. We were wearing our mask and social distancing. It was such a quick procedure. We just signed our documents and we got the welcome package to our house. We got the keys and documents and everything.
Now that I look back after 1 year, I feel we did the right thing by buying this house. Also, our timing was perfect as my husband's still working from home and has ample space for his office, and my kids can also play around without disturbing him. And even I got a small space for setting up my office. So that's a win-win for all. And in all this, our realtor Shefali Bansal had a major role as she found us the perfect place to call our home.